tomorrow is actually Veterans Day. So there's a few bonus videos that are going up. Today is the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I. So I'm going to give you a little history lesson. If you think the PTSD is new and that none of the other veterans had it, or ended up bringing back the demons with them, or any of this is hopeless, you need to know a few facts. First fact is the first psychiatrist embedded with troops was during World War I. There were psychiatric evacuations during World War I. By World War II, psychiatric evacuations went up 300% from World War I. With Korea, they tried to do something different. They had clinicians go out with the troops, and as soon as they started showing any kind of mental, distress, they were pulled out of combat, they were treated, and either they were evac home, or they were sent back into combat. Bet you didn't know that. That brought psychiatric evacuations down to 3%. That's a lot. That also indicated that if you treat trauma soon after it happens, healing starts. And a lot of psychiatrists say there's like this 30-day window that after a traumatic event, if symptoms don't start subsiding, that shock doesn't start wearing off, then you need to get professional help. The sooner you get professional help, the sooner you heal, the better the results, and the better the rest of your life is. But even if they didn't get help right away, they could still heal. And depending on how much time had gone by, there's that scar that's left over. So with Vietnam, they tried something even different. And they gave them exactly 1 year of deployment. And almost every Vietnam vet that went was there for exactly 1 year, 1 tour, and some did go back. Majority went on 1 tour. By the time that they got home, that tour ended, in a year. By the time they got home, that's when they realized that they brought it home with them. And they're the ones that fought for everything available, for what they used to call shell shock. In 1978, the Disabled American Veterans published a study. It's called the Forgotten Warrior Project, and they found that 500,000 Vietnam vets had post-traumatic stress disorder, and yes, it was called that before the VA called it that. Now there's this pamphlet that talks about all the effects the PTSD does. None of this is new. But, I was out at the wall in Apopka this morning before dawn, and that's what I was thinking about most of the time. No matter how Vietnam vets got treated when they came home, they didn't give up on the rest of us. They're the ones that fought for all the research, all the funding, all the compensation, all the benefits for what war did inside of them. And they didn't fight just for themselves. They fought for all generations. The veterans that came before them and the veterans that they knew would come after them. And that's pretty stunning compared to the way that, they were treated when they came home. So, if you have PTSD, if you're getting benefits, if you're getting help, that is fabulous. But as we talk about, veterans struggling, and it seems like social media is always focusing on OEF and OIF veterans. How about you start focusing on the older veterans, because they're the majority of the veterans with PTSD. They're the majority of the veterans that are homeless. They're the majority of the veterans, the known veterans, committing suicide. If you know a Vietnam vet, don't just thank them for their service during Vietnam. Thank them for their service to the entire world. Because what they pushed for ended up becoming what the rest of us have available to us after trauma. They're the ones that are responsible for crisis intervention teams. They're the ones that are responsible for everything that was learned because of the funding that they pushed for. So, by the time this video goes up, it'll be Veterans Day. Really, really take it to heart that it's the day that we acknowledge our veterans and what they did. But every day is Veterans Day to them. Every day of their lives they are veteran. So instead of just thanking a veteran for their service in combat, thank them for what they did. Because the whole world changed and it's better for it. Better for them being here. See you next week.